Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Tom, and today we're going to talk about the Flytanium scales for the mini Bugout, which you don't see here, but we're going to get into that in a minute. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am super excited about this mini Bugout. I have not ever really been a big Benchmade fan. I had a mini grip in like 2014, and more recently I've had the proper, which we'll get into that in a minute as well. But overall, Benchmade doesn't really do it for me, and I don't know why that is. It just is what it is. But at any rate, the Bugout looks really cool and the Bailout looks really cool, but they're both a little too big for me. So when I heard that they announced this mini Bugout at 2.8-inch blade, I had to jump on it. But the issue with me was the colors. I didn't like the black blade with the white scales because I just don't really want a white knife, and I didn't really love the orange handles, the orange scales with the satin blade, because I just don't really want an orange knife. So what am I gonna do, you know? So basically, I love the knife. It's got a small blade, it's lightweight, it's slim, even the pocket clip is awesome, super short and deep carry, which is nice, and it doesn't have that phallic shape that a lot of Benchmade pocket clips have. So what was I gonna do? Well, I took myself over to Knives Plus and picked up this murdered out knife that they got, the mini Bugout. So a lot of the stuff that they do there is modding. So they writ dye the knives, and this is the all black version that I got, which I really like. And yeah, I liked it so much that I was like, man, I really want to see what else is out there. So I cruised around and I saw, I think it was Kurt from Blade HQ had a picture of his mini Bugout with Flytanium scales on it, and I said, oh baby, it's time to do this. So I thought about my, let me get rid of this stuff real quick. Thought about my Flytanium scales that I have on my Benchmade proper, which I really like. Sorry, sticker. Which I really like. And, you know, I have nothing but good things to say about Jacob and Flytanium. It looks awesome. It just totally gives the knife a completely different look and feel, like literally, physically, aesthetically, emotionally. It just looks really good. So I was ready to jump on the Flytanium scales for the mini Bugout. The issue is you know, having this knife, I know that occasionally I want to go back to the micarta, but it is a huge pain to swap the scales every time you're feeling like you're in a micarta mood. In this case, you're wondering, what is a Crine regrind? Well, if you're not familiar with Tom Crine, he's a legendary knife maker, and he does regrinds on knives where he'll just kind of thin the blade out. So this knife actually became a laser after he thinned it out. And, you know, but that comes at a price. So the knife's about $110 or something. So I think I paid close to $200 for the Crine regrind version of it. And, you know, when you add in scales on top of that, you're talking about a pretty expensive knife. You know, you're in the $250, almost $300 range. You know, let's call it $275. So if you get a second knife, you know, that's another $200, so it's a lot of money. And by the way, this is a knife that I carried quite a bit. This was in my rotation very heavily for a while, and you know, it'll probably get back in the rotation again. I'm fortunate to have a lot of knives, so I just kind of cycle through depending on my mood. But this is a great knife. I could make a whole nother video on it. Actually, I think I have, but yeah, if the action was a little better at Benchmade, then I'd probably get another one. But anyway, so I wanted to get the Flytanium scales for this knife, and I didn't want to swap it, so I did what any other red-blooded American male would do, and I just bought a second knife. So that's what I did, and here we are. I have no regrets, and I'm very happy with this idea and this decision. So I just know how much I love the mini Bugout, and I just know that I'm going to be carrying it a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done this. But I just know that this knife is going to be in my pocket a lot. And like I said, I just wanted a way to be able to switch. Let me get this out of here too so it doesn't cause any focus problems. I just wanted a way to be able to switch back and forth, you know, day to day easily without having to disassemble the knife. The axis lock is a pain. You know, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually never disassembled one of these. I did a video earlier, and instead of you guys watching me struggle with screwing a knife back together, I decided to just not post that video. But the main issue I had, I'll just tell you guys real quick so you can kind of learn from my troubles, was that when I was trying to put the pivot back through the blade, it wasn't working. So eventually, after like 10 minutes of struggling, I realized that the blade, the lock was kind of pushing just ever so slightly on the blade, which wasn't letting it line up right. So it's kind of fighting itself. So if you're breaking down one of these knives and you run into that issue, try to pull the lock back, and then it'll have, you know, it'll be free on the blade, and the pivot should go in no problem. So that's pretty much, you know, what I learned today after struggling for a little while. But anyway, in terms of Flytanium, I know from my previous experience with them with the Proper that the precision is on another level. Like these scales, I know when I have purchased scales from people in the past, aftermarket scales, I'm always nervous that they're not going to fit right, or that it's going to look like a little bit off, or the fit and finish is going to be suspect. But Flytanium does not mess around. These scales are just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They fit like, you know, as good as factory, if not better. And one thing that I particularly love is the stone wash that they do. I don't know what medium they use. I don't know what the secret sauce is, but I swear to God, I just go absolutely bananas for this stone wash here. And truly, I really enjoy the contrast of the black hardware on the, you know, the titanium, and you can see the difference here with just, you know, all metal colored knife, which looks cool. I love the monochrome, but it's a totally different vibe, you know. So even down to like the axis lock in here, sorry, focus, the axis lock being black with the, you can see the jimping up here is black. The axis lock is black. All the screws are black, the pocket clips black, the standoffs are black. It just looks so sick. And you know, in the custom world, you see tuxedo knives a lot, which is, well, maybe not a lot, but you see them around, and it's you know, it's like a light and a dark combo, perhaps a Westinghouse micarta with some Zerk. And to me, this feels like an industrial tuxedo is what I want to call it. So I just really dig it. The scales also just give it a little heft, you know, without being heavy. And it just feels, I mean, this knife is just so nice for so many reasons, but I just love how thin it is. And it's just like a knife with no extra nonsense. And these titanium scales eliminate that flex that so many people on Instagram and wherever seem to cry about, which is like a non-issue to me. It's like, yeah, if you pinch on a knife, it's going to bend a little bit. So don't pinch on it. What's wrong with you? I don't know. Whatever. Everybody's got their own thing, I guess. I find things to nitpick about that probably make no sense to other people anyway. It maybe if it's a strength thing, but I don't know. If you want a stronger knife, use a fixed blade. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, let me weigh these puppies and show you guys what the difference is here. Like we're sitting at the dinner table. All right, so let's see. So first up, we'll go stock. Ooh, let me turn this light so you can actually see the numbers. Beautiful. And what do we got? 1.51. So yeah, I read that it's a 1.5 ounce knife, so that's about accurate. Maybe that 0.01 is RIT die. Let me close this. And then this is going to weigh in at 2.34, so it's 0.8 ounces heavier. This is honestly is negligible to me. It's really can't even tell the difference. And I think that, in all honesty, it makes the knife feel great, you know, because it's such a light knife. So it's just again, it's a different vibe visually, and you know, use-wise, it feels more solid, which this knife still feels solid. It feels very rigid to me, but it is so light. It weighs nothing. So the fact that you have the option to go from like a little bit of a more beefed up version, and again, 2.34 ounces is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. So I really dig it. I would even say that there's a chance, and this is very unlike me because I think I had, there's a couple of knives I've had multiples of with different colorways, but it's very rare that I go this bananas with a knife. And to me, 3 of the same knife is bananas, but for most people, that's like a bare minimum. So I don't know. Well, I guess I am the guy that has like 40 cadets, so but that's a different story. I am sincerely considering getting some OD green scales from Rogue Blade Works. There's a little bit of lock stick still happening on this knife because I cleaned it and then I got some oil on it, so now it's kind of sticking a little bit, but we're gonna fix that. Anyway, I'm thinking of getting some OD micarta scales from Rogue Blade Works and throwing them on a satin blade, and it's gonna have that little orange thumb stud action there. I think that'll look really nice. So I don't know, what do you guys think of the mini Bugout? What do you think of Flytanium? They also have, I believe, copper and brass if you want to get crazy. But you know me, I am not on Team Patina, so this is where I land in terms of metal objects. I'm going titanium. I'm not doing brass. Brass I could do, but definitely not copper. It smells gross. Ugh, so gross. But yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys dug this video. And let me know what you think about Flytanium. I love it. I love these scales. I love the way it looks. And, get ready to see a whole lot of content about these 2 knives. So can't wait to get some photos of them. Can't wait to use these knives. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Peace.